Cheers. Sparkling iced matcha. We call it sparkle tea on a protective diet. Today we are making scalloped potatoes. These are fat freedom scalloped potatoes. I call them skinny scalloped potatoes. Jerry's waiting. He wants his matcha for his mitochondria. Right?
That's right.
That's right. Everything that Jerry and I eat on a protective diet is a functional food or beverage. We are very health forward here, as you learned with my water bechamel, plant-based water bechamel sauce last week. It's a free video recipe and also part of protective diet education. Tonight we're putting it together with the skinny scalloped potatoes or fat freedom potato casserole, whatever you want to call it. I mean, come on. Eating this way on a protective diet, I lost 150 pounds. I went from a size 22 to a 2, and I've maintained this for years. I've been teaching these slim down recipes, remakes of my favorites and our community's favorites, cultural favorites from around the world, and bringing and keeping food history alive by making them functional to protect us. Here I am celebrating my 10-year anniversary next month of being diagnosed with terminal cancer I was told that would take me out. At best, I would have 5 years with chemo and radiation, and I refused both. I am so grateful that I promoted the life within me that slimmed me down so beautifully, eliminated the plantar fasciitis. Oh my gosh, I can walk for miles. And eczema, heart disease, hereditary obesity. Is there such a thing? Not in my family. My mom joined me on a protective diet and she slimmed down to as slim as me. So these recipes are your guide. They are your guide to experience exactly what I did. But I want to get into these skinny scalloped potatoes, but I also want to tell you, we have, I think maybe thousands now that have put their type 2 diabetes into remission, eating this way, using the recipes as their guide, keeping food excitement, because if this isn't exciting, if healthy isn't exciting, you're going to go find exciting. Trust me. I see it over and over again. So we keep it exciting with a new recipe every week. And that's what this is this week. So just a tip. If you've got organic potatoes, guess what else you're going to get? If you don't use them right away, eyeballs. At least that's what we called them in my family, eyeballs, but eyes. So just break them off. If the potatoes aren't green, they're good to go. Or plant this in your garden and you're going to get potatoes for days. But what I do is I just remove the eyes like this. I wanted to share this. Don't throw away your potatoes that have eyes. And then I just use my fingernail and I take the eyes off. Don't leave the eyes in your baking pan. So this scalloped potatoes can be made in a sheet pan or in your favorite casserole pan. It doesn't matter how high, how low, how wide, 3 pounds of potatoes. And these potatoes came from Azure Standard. I'll put a link below if you don't know about Azure Standard and all of the great organics you can get from them. And they're scrubbed so clean that all they need is a rinse. And then we're going to slice them into 1/4-inch rounds. You could do that by hand on a cutting board or with a mandolin, or throw them into your food processor. And I say 3 pounds for this recipe because one batch of the plant-based water bechamel will take care of it. In a sheet pan, this one is a 16-inch stainless steel sheet pan that I'll link below because it fits perfectly in my Breville Smart Air Pro. If you don't have one of those, you might want to think about it. I use it all the time, every day. So slicing the potatoes in my food processor, it makes it really easy, but you can do this by hand or with a mandolin. 3 pounds of potatoes doesn't take very long. Practice your knife skills. But this really is the best tool for the job, the fastest tool. But then consider rinsing off a cutting board you're probably going to use after this to make a salad is much easier, and a knife, than washing out your food processor bowl. First things first, before I forget, half a cup of organic unsweetened soy milk goes down into your casserole pan. And I'm going to use the sheet pan just because I think a lot of you have this one and you might be like, oh, I don't have a casserole pan like that. And what this is going to do is give you this little bit of moisture on the bottom of the pan so that it'll steam up your potatoes really beautifully. And here we go. I'm going to layer them in. First, I'm going to move this. This is my InvisiCook cooktop. I showed you how this induction cooktop underneath my countertop worked last week in the plant-based water bechamel recipe. And I want to mention to that recipe, I added a teaspoon of minced dried garlic, which gives it a very nice deep garlic flavor. Or you could use 2 fresh cloves of garlic and put them in there. But I have my fresh garlic and my oil-free vinaigrette that we're having tonight, the balsamic vinaigrette. Jerry loves it. And in our salad, chopped dried onion, put 1 to 2 tablespoons of that in there, and then nutmeg, a few microplanes of nutmeg, or a pinch of ground nutmeg, either way. Excuse my phone. Get these put away. Clean up as you go. It'll make life easier. The other addition I like to put in here is a little extra pepper because Jerry is a huge pepper fan. And pepper and potatoes, it's all good. You could use white pepper if you want to get all fancy and hide it. But I like the little flecks of the black pepper in there. So, first things first, choose your design. You can go online and see all kinds of different scalloped potatoes. You can just layer them in flat, or you can layer them in a scallop design. This is totally up to you. And if your potatoes are cut wonky, all different, I leave the skin on because my life within, my microbiome, my fiber-loving microbes, they love the fiber of the skins. Did I say 3 pounds of potatoes? I made an error. It's 5 pounds of potatoes. I'm eating with Jerry.
I was like, where's your potatoes going to go?
I know. I don't know what I was thinking. I got to go get more potatoes. Hang on, you guys. Go get a drink. Make it protective. Here we go. 2 more pounds of potatoes. Sorry about that mistake. I also forgot. I went out to the garden, and this is an option on the recipe as well. We want to herb it up because our herbs are so protective, and my chives have come back to life. It's spring, and my parsley. These are both perennial herbs. I love to add both parsley and chives to everything. I grew up with those in my garden. So I just add them directly to the sauce, or you could add them on top because I forgot. I'm going to do that. And I have these really sharp kitchen shears that when it makes adding herbs like this to recipes, especially last minute, oops, I forgot, but I like to use them to finish sauces. So these are just really handy. I don't have to get out a cutting board, and I'm just using the same shears that I trimmed them from my garden with. So that's how I do it. And this is just going to add an onion flavor with the chives and freshness with that parsley. Give that a little stir. Everything looks prettier, especially a white sauce with the flecks of herbs. If you don't have any fresh herbs, consider starting an herb garden or pick them up at your market. The farmers markets are starting. It's a very exciting time of year. Here we are in the spring. And my mom always made scalloped potatoes, and I made cheesy scalloped potatoes way back when. Oh my gosh, in 2012?
Yes.
Was that when I first started making cooking videos?
Yeah, 2012 or 2011, one of the two.
2011. I can't keep track. 2010 was when Jerry and I met.
The end of 2010.
Okay, so it was like right at the beginning of 2011, cheesy scalloped potatoes. You can check that one out. It's a free recipe. Now that's more of an au gratin potato. It's got cheesy flavor. Scalloped potatoes are just more of like a creamed potato. Oh my gosh. And in this recipe, we have the plant-based broth mix. If you haven't gotten that in your pantry yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. Oh my gosh. It makes everything buttery and delicious. It's got just such a savory flavor to it. Like I said, you don't have to scallop these potatoes. You can just lay them flat. You can also go that way with them and then go this way with them. Basically, this is a lasagna with potatoes is how I look at it. Same concept, just no cheese on
You
this.
said you don't have to scallop the potatoes. What does scallop a potato mean?
Layering them like roofing shingles.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Jerry. Great question. So this is how they do it in France. And these seem to be a little thicker than a 1/4 inch. So you can go thinner or thicker. They're all going to cook down and lay down flat and beautiful. You can't mess this one up. And this is like a total potluck winner. And when you put this down at your table, be sure to sit down quick and get your serving of it, especially if you're the only one practicing a protective diet at your table or at the party or at the potluck, because it's sure to disappear fast. Because this looks just like the real deal, only we know it's the skinny version. Just as creamy and delicious. So 5 pounds of potatoes to do a 15-inch sheet pan like this, or you could do a casserole pan like I have over there. I try to do it in all of my recipes in increments of how they sell potatoes, so you don't have that one rando potato like hanging out in your kitchen. So usually you can get 3 to 5 pound bags of organic potatoes. But if you're cooking with me, more than likely you're going to get a scale, kitchen scale, not to weigh your food in portions so that you only eat a certain amount. No, that's not what we're doing with a protective diet. This is volume eating. And that's to weigh your ingredients, like 3 pounds or 5 pounds of potatoes, so that you don't have to stop and cut up some more like I did today. I've only made these how many times, Jerry? A lot.
A lot. I'm very appreciative. They're delicious.
Yeah, every time I take scalloped potatoes or lasagna, we make scalloped potato center plate. We do veg it up with the salad on the side, but this is definitely our starch energy, our center plate item. Jerry is thrilled whenever he sees a casserole pan on the counter in the morning, because we eat one meal a day, as you guys know. And in doing that, I plan for it from the start of my day. I'm like, what should we make for dinner? Because it doesn't take a whole lot of my day, because I'm only planning one meal to serve. And it is 8 years now, 1 meal a day. We're past our 8-year marker, and it has given me so much freedom. We're doing less because we're only cooking once. So let's get these last ones in here. It might make it look uneven a little bit, but oh my gosh, who cares? It's what it tastes like. And once it bakes and gets golden on top, the eye appeal is all there. So then we're layering on the sauce. You could have layered a little more sauce in the middle, but now I just have to be careful. My bechamel is thickening up as we speak. And if you made your bechamel ahead of time and you refrigerated it in a quart jar, it fits perfectly into a quart jar, it will become very thick. And that you might have to use, kind of spread it on. But you don't have to thin it out unless you want to. If your bechamel sauce is really thick, it got really thick because it sat there, add a little splash of your organic, unsweetened, plain soy milk, the only milk I'm using on a protective diet because it's additive free and it contains angiogenesis inhibitors. If you haven't seen that class about that, check it out, you guys. Oh my gosh, the magical soybean. It also contains spermidine, which is wonderful for our brain and the powerhouse of our cells, our mitochondria. Oh my gosh, it's so cellular protective. Pour the last of this on here. That made it a little more pourable, which you can definitely do. And into the oven. Oh my gosh. On top of these, I call these yogi bowls. And if you're just getting started with us or on a protective diet and you're not familiar what this is just frozen fruit. We make homemade soy yogurt, organic, of course. And we put a really nice, generous cup of that on top of our yogi bowls. Get it? Yogurt. And this is how we do it. 1 meal a day on a protective diet. If you're liking what you're seeing here, please like this video and subscribe to the Protective Diet channel so that you don't miss another example or fat freedom recipe. That's right. Take care.
And best of health.